Hey, what's up party people? So with 2018 wrapping up and only one more day till the new year, I thought it was time to put together my take on the rankings of this year's releases. While I've never really done this before, I don't know, but I'm doing it now, so there. Before we start, I want to mention that this is the odd time where the rankings in this video are not really going to be influenced by my preferences alone for the figures, seeing as first of all, I don't have all of them, but the rankings are more so based on the general feedback from the collectors community as well as the observations on each figure overall. Having said that, it's still highly subjective and I'm definitely not the authority on this matter. So all you keyboard warriors out there coming at me in the comments section, if you gotta, you gotta, but I'm probably going to disregard you as usual. So without further ado, let's get into it. The rankings of the 2018 SH Figuarts Dragon Ball franchise releases. So this year we've had a whopping total of 12 releases, 15 if you're counting the SDCC Dragon Ball Tour exclusives, which by the way I'm not ranking because each of those would easily be in the top few figures, which I feel we already know. So to keep it interesting and a level with more available releases, we'll exclude them. But overall, here's what we got in 2018. We got Yamcha, Tien, Kid Goku, Goku Black, Frieza, Majin Vegeta, the exclusives, Base Goku 2.0, Roshi, Fat Majin Buu, Teen Bulma, Gotenks, and Dragon Ball Super Trunks. Quite the lineup there, but who exactly beat who in terms of being the better figure overall? So coming in at number 12, I've got Kid Goku. Simply because I believe the majority of us who collect these figures are in it more so for the characters from Z. However, I do acknowledge that there are collectors who adore Dragon Ball as well. Now this figure on its own is great. It's got the likeness down, a bunch of accessories, a good articulation I assume, but the hardest pill to swallow with this figure is the scale. It just doesn't match up well at all next to the Z figures, which is a shame but understandable, as some Dragon Ball enthusiasts will argue it's scaled up for more detail, which again I understand, but again it's just not a figure I desired wholeheartedly from the start as well as many others, and I knew the moment he was announced I'd be skipping out on him. Alright, so at number 11 we got good old Muten Roshi, Master Roshi. Now I'm a little bit more of a fan of this figure than I am with Kid Goku, as he does fit in quite nicely with the Dragon Ball Z figures. Only reason I didn't pick him up was that I didn't have extra cash lying around at the time of his release, but I do think he's a solid Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z representative. Just too bad we can't shove him in a tournament of power lineups yet, because like full power Roshi, maybe like in the anime, he'll surprise us with an appearance in the future sometime. So coming in at number 10 is Bulma, or Teen Bulma. And there's a couple of reasons why I gave her the top spot when it came to the Dragon Ball figures released this year. The first is that she's another addition to the female characters, which is pretty rare, and it's arguably her in her prime while she was still kicking ass and taking names. The other reason is that with her color scheme and the accessories, she really adds a refreshing breath of fresh air when you're gazing along your lineup and you realize you either see orange or straight spiky hair half the time. Now I didn't pick her up, again, because I'm not as interested in the Dragon Ball line, but from what I can see and from what I can hear from you guys, you love her and you're very happy with how she turned out. Alright, so at number 9, I wish that I could have placed this figure higher up on the list, and that's Majin Vegeta. Simply because I love Majin Vegeta, who doesn't? And while he's not a horrible figure, as I've said time and time again, he pales in comparison to the other figures that really shine either from their sculpt, the paint jobs, or the inclusion of accessories and other heads, which Majin Vegeta is lacking in. I was really hoping for a Super Saiyan 2 head sculpt and some sort of energy effect part with variation in sculpt from the previous Super Saiyan Vegeta 2.0, but hey, this is what we got. Now, I'm happy to finally have a Buu Saga jumpsuit Vegeta in my collection, but hopefully Shenron grants my wish and gives us a better Super Saiyan 2 variation. Doesn't even have to be Majin Vegeta, but just a Buu Saga Super Saiyan 2 overall. Alright, so I never thought that this would happen, and Vegeta would probably be pissed if he found this out as well, but yes, I've ranked Gotenks up above him on this list. While I don't have him yet, he seems like a very good release overall. Nothing super spectacular, but better than Majin Vegeta, I'm sad to say. He's got a nice gradient of shading in the Super Saiyan hair, which is always appreciated, and comes with a nice amount of accessories in the Kamikaze Ghost and Galactic Donut. And he'll fit great with Super Buu once he's out. I think the only thing separating him from being good as opposed to great is that of a base form head and Super Saiyan 3, but I wouldn't expect them to have thrown that in anyways. If they did, it would have blown me right the hell away. But yeah, a base form head that comes with most other Super Saiyans would have been able to bump this guy up a couple more spots on this list, I think. So coming in at number 7, yup, they done did it again folks, with another Goku. This time at least we can make the argument that we needed a 2.0 base Goku, I guess. But I mean, from the factors that bump this figure up higher on the list, they are a cheaper price point, which allows new collectors to get the franchise's flagship dude, the inclusion of a power pole and kanji which represents the Frieza saga to partway through the Android saga, and everything else that comes with the 2.0 upgrade treatment. This is another figure I've yet to pick up, but I wouldn't say I'd pass on him entirely anyways. He's a solid release just before the top half of this list, and hey, if we didn't have any other base form Gokus at all, he'd probably be up even higher. Alright, so the top 6. Now we got Tien. So much like Yamcha, Tien was a very welcomed, much needed addition to the line to help fill out that Z Fighter roster, as well as hit things up again in the Saiyan saga. By the way, where is Raditz? Anyway, his sharp sculpt and very keen attention to detail with his tri-beam hands really served to make this an even better figure. And let's not forget the inclusion of his Mr. Mime looking sidekick, Chiaotzu. He can't move, but I mean he's still there. And I think that's really the only reason I have him ranked just below Yamcha, otherwise they're equally matched. So as I said, coming in at number 5 is Yamcha, a much welcomed addition to the Z Fighter lineup just like Tien, and for those who love Yamcha, I don't think you're going to get much more Yamcha than this. Aside from maybe a different hairstyle, I don't see a need for Tamashii to put out another version, urgently anyways. The inclusion of the Cybermen that has some articulation is awesome, as it'll let you really get creative in posing your Saiyan Saga figures around, including that infamous Yamcha is dead look. All in all, like I said, with number 6 on this list, he's a great figure that was well done and helps bring us closer to that filled out Z Fighter roster. I feel like we just need a 2.0 Piccolo at this point. Alright, so at number 4, guys and girls, it's Fat Buu. This is the first representation of a Buu Saga villain in light ever for this line. Sporting a heftier price tag than the other releases this year, he also sports a much heftier size, which is very nice in terms of his scaling. His paint scheme is bright, he comes with a chocolate bar as any Majin Buu should, and I don't have any complaints about this figure. If you want more detail, be sure to check out my review right there, but I mean arguably, he is the best representation of a Majin Buu we have to date. That is until we get Super Buu. But finally, finally we have a Buu Saga villain. And what's more is that we'll be getting another accessory for him next year, so he's not even done yet, folks. Alright, so coming in at number 3 is a redo or Resurrection F version of Frieza. Now I didn't pick this figure up because I had the original, but I kinda wish I did now. He's just overall a vastly improved version that even comes with a halo for his super appearances. Only drawback in my opinion is he doesn't come with that rock base that I like so much. But hey, this guy gave new collectors a chance to give what is arguably Dragon Ball's most iconic villain a pickup, who, spoiler alert, if you live under a rock, just never seems to stay dead. The colors are better, the joints are tighter, yeah, just another cool release at number 3. So, number 2, the ever elusive Goku Black, who I still haven't got my hands on yet. I have this figure so high up on this list despite not actually owning it, simply because it broke the damn record in simply selling out from like everywhere on the planet. And he's just a badass looking figure, despite technically being another Goku. But I mean, who else rocks a rose pink Super Saiyan hair? Who else fits so perfectly with Vegeta Blue and Dragon Ball Super Trunks? And who else comes with a badass energy scythe? Oh yeah, he doesn't come with that, and that's the one reason why I don't have him really coming up higher at the number 1 spot on this list, but at least they gave us Space Form hair with this figure as well. Solid, dope release overall, which I still plan to get my hands on at some point in the future. See what I did there? Alright guys, so obviously, number 1 is Dragon Ball Super Trunks, and I think it's almost kind of poetic that we end off the top of this list with the last release of this year. This thing looks phenomenal, and while I don't have it yet, get this. He comes with the base form here, he comes with the rage form here, a big ass energy spirit sword, and a Gallic gun charge effect, while I know it's really a ripoff of the Kamehameha without the beams, but finally some Vegeta effect parts. But the colors on this guy look really nice as well, and I'm assuming the joints are real tight. And like I said, although he's a super character, he does pair perfectly with 2 of this year's releases, being Vegeta Blue and Goku Black. If that doesn't give you a top spot on this figures for 2018 list, I don't know what does. Alright guys, so 2018 gave us a crap ton of figures, and I can't wait for 2019. But what did you guys think of all of them? Did any of you guys actually pick every single figure up? And for those of you who commented Yajirobe on the last vid, you guys are the real ones, that's what's up. But let me know what your rankings are down below, guys. Do you think I should have included the SDCC Dragon Ball Tour figures on the list? Let me know. And as always, you know what I say. May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. And have yourselves a happy New Year.